I think it's safe to say that the Kinect didn't really connect with audiences.
First up, this is kind of bittersweet, but not really. With this little peripheral. Shut up, Gertz. Leave me alone. let me have my things, man. This is an impediment. You don't laugh at people in wheelchairs, do you? Man. No,
kidding. Sometimes.
Okay, cool. But yes, this little peripheral for this video game console, it was slated to be the next big thing, especially right after the Wii was being successful way back then.
Yeah.
People was like, wow, the next thing, it's not going to be VR or it's not going to be DLC or other things like that. It's going to be motion controls and the ability to manipulate games through the real world, through a 3D space.
Yeah, or like Minority Report. Just
like, you'll be like Tom Cruise in that Spielberg movie for having fun, kind of. But with this console, you were told, hey, you need this to enjoy life. You need this to detect ghosts if you're in a paranormal activity. I think that was 4.
Yeah,
they were detecting ghosts with this certain device. And this was announced way back in 2009, so everybody thought this is going to have a long shelf time. It's going to be better than Nintendo doing with their motion controls and anything else. But unfortunately, that's not what happened. And today marks the death of the thing that everybody said, or excuse me, Microsoft said, you're going to need this if you want to play your Xbox. It's impossible to play it if you don't have this. People, today marks the death of the Xbox Kinect. It is now dead. It is done. It has been, what is it they do with Vikings? They put them on a boat and they shoot the arrow. That's what they're going to do with this Kinect. People, the Kinect is finally dead. The last one has been produced. They are not making any more. And it has finally had that last nail in the coffin. Now, people, I know you've probably been, using your Kinect, maybe playing Just Dance or whatever other games came out for it.
Yeah.
Like Zoo Pals.
And that Star Wars game that, that got torn apart.
Yo, God, yeah. Jesus, don't even want to get on that. But with the Kinect, it was slated to be the next big thing, the closest step to being in a video game, because you're not only playing a video game, you're interacting with it.
Yeah, you are the character in the game.
Yes, because everybody knows that's what people and gamers love, is exercising and standing up when they're in their homes and they're small apartments with a big ass TV. It's like I gotta be able to sling my arms around and kick people if I want to.
Yeah. I want it to be like a martial artist class at a mall.
Yeah, but unfortunately, that's not what happened. And like I said, it marks today marks the final day of it. However, and I see them they're pouring out a glass for the Kinect over here.
Yeah,
like the RIP Kinect. Yeah, with it, you're thinking, well, what happened? I remember it just being at the forefront of everything back in the day. And you know what? I want to give you guys just a walk down memory lane, just so you get a chance to reflect back on how much time we had with the Kinect and what it was. And this is back before it was even called the Kinect. This is you remember what it was called, Gertz?
No, I forget.
This is when it was called, and hopefully I'm saying this right, Project Natal.
Oh, yeah, that's right.
Yeah, so here, let's go back and look, since I guess this is now awake for the Kinect. Let's go back and look at all the great things that the Kinect has brought us.
Just dives into a table.
Just a glass. Oh, God. Or it's like, was it Battlefield Earth? It goes through a glass wall. But yeah, people, first of all, I don't think any of these games actually came out for the Kinect that I remember.
I don't remember
And
any
if they did, they were not promoting them at all. And as you can see right there, it is like, you can do all this cool stuff. You can import your body, so you can do a penalty kick in FIFA, or you can bring in your skateboard and play this shitty version of Skate/Tony Hawk or whatever this was. And yeah, or you saw the one where you're stomping around Tokyo as a giant monster.
Yeah.
All of that stuff was like, this looks cool before you get to the practicality of it.
Yeah, this looks cool if it were real.
Yeah, exactly. And with it just turned into something to where, I remember when they were announcing the Kinect, they said, yo, sorry, not the Switch, the Nintendo Wii, it was great. Everybody loved the motion controls. It's one of the highest selling consoles. People just love this, and the reason why it's so good is because of the motion control. So Microsoft thought, you know what, we can do that, but we're not going to make you just throw a remote.
Yeah.
Like, you don't have to shoot a laser at a little sensor in front of your TV. We're going to make this you be the control. You're not the Wiimote. You are the Wiimote. Like, wait, what?
Yeah, it was almost like, what if we took the Nintendo Wii and made it not work?
Got it. Yeah, and that's exactly what they did. With the Kinect, keep in mind, it did have a couple of cool features. We're not going to come in and dogpile on Microsoft because you're at a very low point right now. We don't want you to be on suicide watch. But with the Kinect, one of the big things that they were touting it as is, yo, this is going to be the middle of your entertainment system, especially when they brought out the Xbox One version.
Yeah, they were treating it like an entertainment hub where you could do anything with it.
Yeah, like I remember when one of my friends got his Xbox One. He's like, because at the point when the Xbox One was first coming out, what was it that you needed to have with it? A Kinect. They said the Xbox One is useless unless you have a Kinect. And then they turn around and change their minds on that real quick.
Yeah, when they saw the reaction that everyone had, like, that's ridiculous. Fuck you, we're not doing that.
Yeah, they had a lot of bad reactions, Microsoft, over the years. DRM, the Kinect borrowing games, things like that.
Yeah.
But the Kinect, like Gert said, was one of the big ones that stuck out for people. And they were saying, you have to have it. This is the only way your Xbox will work. And my friend, he bought an Xbox One just like a lot of people did. And when you were playing it, or excuse me, when you turned it on, you could see, he's like, hey, look at this. Watch this. Hey, Xbox, on. I was like, oh, wow, it turned on. And I was like, oh, yeah, Xbox, ESPN, basketball. And then went to ESPN basketball. I was like, oh, wow, that's really cool. I was like, all right, so what games do you play for it? Games? What, games? No games. no games.
Wait a minute, this thing plays games?
Yeah, exactly. That's what most people were using it for. There's like, all right, it's just a glorified voice remote.
Yeah.
That's what it kind of turned into. Like, again, there are a couple of cool things where they were using games. I know with Mass Effect, you could use it to help change weapons. With I want to say, not SOCOM, but Rainbow Six, you could use it to give your team commands and things like that with voice controls. But that's stuff that you can already do with just a plug-in headset. If you have a PlayStation and you have your plug-in headset, it can do that, and you can do those same controls without the Kinect.
Yeah.
And you can do that same thing with a regular Xbox headset without having a $100 connected to your Xbox.
Yeah.
Yeah. To say we didn't see this coming would be a lie.
Of course. Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
I think everyone saw this coming. When you just saw the reactions to people when it was initially bundled with the Xbox One, the reactions were so negative. It would be foolish to try to make this thing, to extend its shelf life, because no one was interested in it at all.
Yeah, and the other thing was Xbox and Microsoft in general didn't really go in the right direction when they showed this off again. So remember in 2009, they showed it off as Project Natal. So you're like, oh yeah, you can do this, you can be a monster, you can play FIFA in the game. But when they came back for 2010, they pulled your boy, the man of Mr. False Promises, I think that's his legal name now, Mr. Peter Molyneux.
Oh, God.
Oh, yeah, they brought him in here to flex.
The ultimate video game snake oil salesman, dude.
Yeah, and y'all keep believing this dude.
Yeah, stop believing this guy. He's practically like, he's like Scientology in video game form.
He's a real life troll. And and it doesn't help that he looks like a cult leader.
Yeah,
like,
exactly.
So Peter was out there saying, yo, listen, I worked with Microsoft for a long time. I was one of the big guys out here saying Fable, all this stuff about Fable 2, which was, again, a lie. But he's like, you know what? They're giving me another chance. And I think I'm going to do a good job with this. I see the Kinect, and I see all the cool things they're going to do with it. I want to push into the forefront, not only being able to be the controller yourself, but I want you to also feel for your video games. I want you to fall in love with these characters. I want you to be able to give these characters a hug. I want you to take them on long walks. I want you to just be a good person to these characters. Yeah, Peter's crazy. Again, that look right there. Peter is crazy.
Yeah.
But with that, he said, you know what? I have a game that's going to make people do all of that. They'll be able to interact with the characters. They're going to fall in love. They're going to just have a blast playing this. And he gave us basically a pedophile simulator.
Reflecting in Milo's face. Those are all being seen for the first time.
So listen, I was thinking today you should let me beat you at football again. That is if you finished your homework. You have finished your school project.
What happened there is that Claire knew Milo so well, she knew when he was worried about something. The head was down, he wasn't looking at the camera so much, and this is about you meeting a character, a person.
Well, why don't I help you with yours? Then yours will be brilliant.
All right. I could just try to catch some fish. Draw some pictures in my journal. Maybe I'll do okay this time.
I think that's a good idea.
Because, yes, this is what all gamers want when they play video games.
Yeah, man. I just don't see how anyone would be interested in this, honestly. I'm sure there are people who are.
Why not? Yes, and I think they're on a watch list. Yeah. I feel like they are, but yeah, I mean, why don't you think anybody would be interested in this?
It's just there's nothing appealing about it to me, I guess. It's just a Tamagotchi on steroids in essence. And yeah, I just don't see any appeal to it because I feel like within a few minutes of just trying to interact with this thing in a genuine way, you could see all the flaws inherent with it.
Right.
There's no way, there's no way that video is entirely truthful because it's Peter Molyneux.
Yes.
And also just if you can ask this thing any question you want, are you telling me it's going to have an answer for every question I pose to it? I don't believe that for a minute.
But Peter would tell you yes.
Yeah, but that's Peter Molyneux.
But he told you yes. You asked the question, he answered it. That's all you wanted, right? You just wanted the answer.
I mean, I would want an answer from the AI. From Milo.
Yes, this is. I remember when they first showed this, I was like, oh, that's kind of neat. And then I was like, wait a second, this isn't a game. This is a simulator.
Yeah, this is Hey You Pikachu.
Yeah,
again, just amped up.
Yeah, and I think you 100% got it right when you said this is just a Tamagotchi. This is a $100 Tamagotchi.
Yeah,
because this doesn't look enjoyable. This doesn't look like an actual. First of all, this doesn't even look like gameplay. Mm-mm. Like this looks like it's just a video, and they had the woman go in front of it and act.
Yeah.
So when she was like, "Oh, did you finish your homework?" and Peter pops up and says, "Oh, well, the thing is, she noticed when he put his head down that he was lying because she knows Milo. They become so attached." It's like, no, it's a fucking video, and you told her to act that way.
Yeah.
Like if I would have went up and be like, "Hey, have you had a hamburger today?" He'd be like, no, a hamburger. I don't know. So yeah, the Kinect from the get-go was something that was just seen, for me, as a novelty. It's something that it was going to be there for a while. I'm surprised it lasted as long as it did. It had, 8 years?
Yeah, and I think it lasted that long because Microsoft just kept trying to bring life into it. Mm-hmm. It wasn't something that took off initially. It never really took off. And I think the biggest issue with it is that it's derivative. It's derivative of the Wii, and it's fine to do something in reaction to your competitors. You should be doing that. Mm-hmm. But if you're doing something that's derivative of them and it's just aping what they do, you're almost never going to succeed. Because Nintendo did something that was innovative. Mm-hmm. They did something that hadn't really been done that way before. And you're just trying to do the same thing better and failing at it. Mm-hmm. It's like DC reacting to Marvel. I mean,
don't say that.
I don't want to, I mean, I know there are people that will be like, whoa, when they hear that comparison, but it's the truth. Mm-hmm. You want to react to people that you're competing against, of course, but you want to do something that takes it in a different direction.
Right.
You want to innovate do something else innovative that makes their innovation look lacking by comparison. You don't want to just do the same thing.
Yeah. And I think you've said all that can be said about it because it feels like a clone it feels like a lesser version of something that was cool when it first came out.
Yeah.
But now it's just intrusive.
One of my friends, in a similar vein, this was back when the PS Move was being touted around.
Trash.
Yes, it was. And I remember he was working at an ad agency at the time. And they had a meeting, and they had some folks come in, and they open up a secret suitcase, and they open it up, and inside is this black controller with a golf ball on it. It looks like a dildo. And the guy says with a completely straight face, "This is going to be the Wii killer." And they close up the suitcase, have their little meeting.
Are you sure he didn't say weed killer?
He closed up his suitcase, they have their meeting, and he walks out. As soon as he walked out, everyone in the room was just like, whew. This thing is going to fail so hard.
It's going to bomb terribly.
Yeah, and sure enough, even if it didn't bomb, it was nowhere near as successful as the Wii was.
Yeah, and shout out to PlayStation for learning very quick. We need to just
That's
keep this
true.
quiet.
To their credit, they did nip it in the bud.
Yeah, and they didn't require for you to have it for the PS4, a la the Xbox One's Kinect.
Yeah, but they still initially did the same thing where they reacted to their competitor by trying to do the same thing their competitor was doing. And at that point, you're letting your competitor dictate the rules.
Right.
And if you're doing that, your competitor's going to win because they're making the rules.
Yeah, and another big thing, this is the last thing that happened with the Kinect, when it came out and people were saying it was going to be a necessity to have it if you have an Xbox One, the president of Xbox Game Division came out and said, oh, well, yeah, the great thing about it is this thing actually monitors you because it's an always-on device, kind of like your phone. Like my phone's always listening, so I can be like, hey, okay, Google, do something, or Siri, things like that. But with this was also an always-on device, and the president of the company came out and said, oh, well, yeah, it's always-on device, it's always monitoring, it's always learning. We could turn around and sell this information to ad agencies and make money that way and sell it to advertisers. And Microsoft had to come in and say, no, stop. And they had to backpedal their way away from that, and everybody was like, all right, I'm so over getting a Kinect and putting that in my house because I don't want something else monitoring me. And they even went to the point of when they started making the newer versions of the Kinect, having a little slide, a little plastic slide thing that goes over the camera. But by that time, the damage was already done.
Yeah.
Yeah, it was a mess. Microsoft, you tried. I feel like we can give you a gold star for trying. But yeah, this Kinect, I think everybody saw the writing on the wall except you for some reason.
Yeah, this is, I think, a great example of someone chasing their losses.
Yeah.
They should have cut things off way sooner than they did.
Instead of doubling down like you did with the Xbox One. You have to have it. Now you don't. No, maybe. Like, it doesn't even have a port for it anymore on the Xbox One now.
Good.
Yeah, they're like, fuck it.
Yeah.
But yeah, Kinect, it's been what? You had a good 8 years. I guess some TV shows last longer than that. But hey, you made it. You tried to do something. You failed, but you tried. And we wish you luck. I don't know what do you think is going to be the next thing for Microsoft now since this is out the door?
Man, they've got to change something. Like they can't. I mean, Sony's kind of got, I think, the traditional console on lock in terms of being a hub, something that can stream, play movies, play video games. I think Sony's got that locked down. Nintendo is going in a completely different direction, something totally innovative, and doing that, separating themselves from the competition and beating them simultaneously. I feel like Microsoft is going to have to do something like that. Something that is completely different than either of the other two. Okay. So, and that could be exciting. That could be nice. Just to have an option that offers things that the other two do not.
So let me ask you. I'm sitting you down in Microsoft right now, and you're the head of the creative division of forethought in gaming for Microsoft. What are you going to add to the next? Let's call it the Xbox 2. What are you going to do with that? What's the new thing to add on the Xbox 2 that makes it the system to get? Because always, like you said, with PlayStation, they just have to say it's a PlayStation, buy it.
Yeah,
Nintendo, it's a little bit harder of a sell because they'd be like, it's a new thing, try to adopt it and see if you like it. But with Microsoft, it's still kind of out in the nether. So what would you recommend for Microsoft to do to make it to be the next big system?
Shit. I mean, it's a tall order for them because, I mean, PlayStation and Nintendo both have, I think they have stronger branding than either of them. Like you said, PlayStation can roll out a PlayStation 5 and people would be like, I'm on board with that. And Nintendo could keep going on with the Switch and keep developing that. Microsoft, yeah, I think you'd have to look at those two other options and say, okay, what is something big that both of those are lacking, and let's focus on that. And that's a tricky question. That's something that I think you definitely have to take some time and think about. But I do think you would have to do that in some form. What is Nintendo doing, or what is something that Nintendo is missing out on? What's something that Sony's missing out on? And is it something that we can do and we can own? And I think that would be something you would really have to dedicate time to figure out.
I say porn. Here's why. We've always seen porn be I mean, correct me if I'm wrong. They are always the people that industry is always at the the forerunners of new technology. Prime example, they adopted Blu-ray instead of HD DVDs. They went with VHS instead of Betamax. So like they went with DVDs instead of laser disc. So like I'm pretty sure there's some laser disc porn out there, and if you own that, wow. But yeah, I feel like it's gonna take something drastic, something that people aren't even really thinking of.
Yeah.
They're like, yeah, we got a new deal with Pornhub or X-Hamster. Congratulations, your Xbox now is a triple Xbox.
Maybe if they took a page, I mean, this is kind of being, I mean, you could argue this is kind of derivative, and it is, but it's something that that might work for them. If they took a page kind of out of the PC gaming handbook, it's like maybe if they made their consoles more customizable or something like that, because that's one of the things people love about playing on PCs. But a big issue with PCs is a lot of time the games just don't work on them.
Right.
So if there was a console that did both, where we've got consistent quality control, which is something consoles do have over PCs, but at the same time you can upgrade it personally, that does feel in line with the kind of branding that Microsoft is doing.
Yeah, and keep in mind, Gertz is right. They do go after we're the hardcore gaming.
Yes.
So like we're Call of Duty, Gears of War, shoot a motherfucker in the head, that kind of game.
There might be something there. But again, it's something that if you were to seriously ask me to think about it, I would have to take some time to just be like, okay, what could we do? Porn? You bring up a good point. It might work.
It might. You never know.
They do skew a little bit more adult. So, yeah, there might be something there.
And now we're going to hear some. What's the dude's name that's always suing video game? The lawyer? Jack Ryan?
Yeah, oh, well, Paul. No, that's not Paul. Not Paul.
Paul Ryan? No, that's another terrible person. But yeah, Jack Ryder or Jack something.
Yeah, I'm blanking on it.
Yeah, that scumbag. I'm sure if Xbox decides to loop in porn, it's not going to be a good look for them.
I think.
But yeah, what's up?
I think it's safe to say that the Kinect didn't really connect with audiences.
Give my gift back, man. You don't need that. No. God damn it. But anyway, yeah, good luck, Microsoft. I'm sure you're going to come out with something new. But yeah, the Kinect is obviously not where it's at right now.